Hi everybody, Matthew Turnage here. Today's video I'm going to rank the 11 tracks that Ringo provided lead vocals on the Beatles albums. I'd kind of thought about doing this at one time or another and just never gotten around to it. But the other week, Sam St. John did the ranking on his channel and asked people to make a thread of it. So I thought I'd continue the thread here and give you my ranking. So we'll start with number 11, and that's from Please Please Me. It's going to be Boys. Of course, this is a cover song that the Beatles do very well. It's Ringo's first vocal, of course, being on their debut album. He sings it well. The band plays it with a lot of energy. I like the song, but I just like the rest of the ones on this list better. There's nothing I can say really negative about it. It's just I prefer the other tracks on here. So number 10, it's another cover song, and this one comes off the Long Tall Sally EP, and here Ringo sings a cover of Carl Perkins' Matchbox. It's a great song, and again, Ringo does it well. It's not one of my favorite vocals, but overall the track comes off well. So solid, but not spectacular. Number 9, get another Carl Perkins cover off Beatles for Sale, and this is Honey Don't. I think this one comes off a little bit better than Matchbox again. Ringo sings well, the band plays well. It's good, but they do some better Ringo tracks on some other albums. So there's number 9. Number 8, and this is the first Lennon-McCartney original performed by Ringo, and this is off with the Beatles. It's I Want to Be Your Man. Now, John once said that you could tell what he and Paul thought about I Want to Be Your Man by the fact that they gave it to the Stones to use and let Ringo sing the version on their album. But I think it's a good song. It's a good high-energy early Beatles rocker. I think it translates well to the live stage, and Ringo performs it well. So I think it's a really good song, and I like how it comes off. So that's at number 8. Number 7, we go to the White Album with Ringo singing John's song Good Night. Now, to be honest, this song, when I first got the White Album, I just really did not get into it very much. I mean, it was okay, but early on when I would listen to the White Album, sometimes once Revolution 9 came on, I would just turn the album off because I just couldn't. It took me a while to get into Revolution 9, and I didn't like Good Night enough to just skip over it and listen to Good Night before the end of the album. But over time, as I started to kind of give Revolution 9 a more of a chance and listen to it more, then that led me into listening to Good Night a bit more, and that song has grown on me some. I still don't think it's one of the best. As far as Ringo's vocals go, it's fine. He sings it pretty well. The main things I like about this track or the arrangement. I like the strings and everything, and I think that comes off well. But overall, it's still, to me, just an okay track. It's not one of my favorites. So moving on to number 6, sticking with the White Album, and I didn't mean to put both of the White Album tracks back to back. It just happened to work out that way when I made my list. Number 6 is Don't Pass Me By, which is the first Ringo Starr original to be recorded by the Beatles. And of course, it's a very basic song. It kind of bounces along nicely and with a little countrified feel. I think it's recorded well. I like the sound of it, and it's a catchy song. You know, I give Ringo credit for that, coming up with a really catchy tune. So I really enjoy it. It's he would do better on other occasions, but it's a really good song. I like Don't Pass Me By quite a lot. All right, so number 5, and we come to Rubber Soul and What Goes On. Of course, the famously known as the only Lennon-McCartney Starr-written track, and it fits very much into the countrified mold that Ringo's voice, I think, is especially suited for. It has a lot of bounce to it and a lot of energy to it. It's performed very well by the band, and Ringo sings well. He sings really well on this song, I think, and I like the harmonies on it. It's a really good song. This is probably the first one so far on the list. I mean, I like the other songs fine, but this is the first song on the list probably that I'd say I really, really love. So that's number 5, What Goes On, off Rubber Soul. And then number 4, it's going to be another cover song, Buck Owens' Act Naturally, recorded for the Help album. This is a song perfectly suited to Ringo. He does it well. The lyrics really fit Ringo and his personality very well, I think. So it's a great tune, a great selection for Ringo, and the band plays it especially well. It's actually, to me, one of the really, I love this whole album, Help. I've mentioned that before, but it's one of the tracks on here that I especially really enjoy every time. So Ringo with Act Naturally at number 4. And the top 3 were kind of hard to place because these songs I really, really like a lot. They're some of my absolute favorite Beatles songs, all 3 of them. So having to kind of sort them out amongst the 3 was tough, and in a different day, the order of these 3 might change. But at number 3, off of Abbey Road, Octopuss's Garden. Now, the lyrics on this, I think, are actually pretty good. Ringo paints a very nice picture of this scene of the Octopus's Garden. Of course, the melody is not super sophisticated, but it's a fun song to sing along to, and I love the sentiment. I'd like to be under the sea at an octopus's garden in the shade. What really makes this track work for me, though, like the rest of the Abbey Road album, it is so well produced and arranged. It sounds great. All the little instrumentation, the effects, the backing vocals, it really is a testament to how well the Beatles could work together when they come together, to help Ringo in a song. They really delivered a great one on this. The whole, like I said, the arrangements and the production on this are outstanding. Really good song. Could have even been number 1 on my list. I debated where to put this, but for today, coming in at number 3, Octopus's Garden. Number 2 from Revolver is going to be Yellow Submarine. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail about how much I love this song because I've talked about it at least a couple of times. Probably most recently, I did a video with my favorite Beatles memory for Beatley Tones Beatles channel. So if you want to hear me go on at length about Yellow Submarine, you can check that video out. But it's an absolutely great song. It's so much fun to sing along to. I love Ringo's vocals, and again, the arrangements with all the other voices and the effects and everything. It is such an outstanding track. So number 2, Yellow Submarine. And of course, that leaves, to beat it out slightly, number 1 off Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, with a little help from my friends. This is such a great song. And well done by Joe Cocker, too. That's one of the things from when I was growing up. I was such a big fan of that show, The Wonder Years, which used the Joe Cocker version in the theme song. But the Beatles original is still the gold standard for me. It's such a great song. Again, another song that's well suited for Ringo. It fits in with the concept of the album and the flow of the album. I love how it comes out of the title track at the beginning, and again, Ringo sings it well. They're great lyrics, and it really is sort of it really has become his signature song, I think, in a lot of ways. So again, this top 3 could move around in any order, but for today, I'm putting With a Little Help from My Friends at number 1. So there's my top 11 Ringo songs, songs sung by Ringo on Beatles albums, that is. So let me know what you think in the comments, which ones are your favorites, and give a visit to Sam St. John's channel. Check out his original video. I'll put the link in the description. Thanks, everybody. Peace and love.